How are we doing, everybody? My name is Caleb Perez, and welcome back to Voodoo Sports Analysis. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets of the 2024-2025 season, what's been a really great season for the Blue Jackets organization. Despite all they went through over the offseason with the loss of Johnny Gaudreau, despite how the last couple seasons have gone with a lot of fans questioning if the team was going to be competitive at all this season, they have defied every expectation that has been thrown their way, and they've been able to put themselves in a position to compete for the playoffs right now. Their playoff hopes took a bit of a hit last night with their 7-3 loss at home to the Colorado Avalanche. Cale Makar really showed up. And he looks fantastic. And for the Blue Jackets fans hoping Werenski could win the Norris Trophy with the great season he's been having, those odds went down a little bit with Makar having a fantastic performance and Werenski not being anywhere near as noticeable as Makar. For Cale Makar has now officially scored 30 goals this season. But overall, for the Blue Jackets, they're in a playoff spot. They're going to need some help. But regardless, they're here. Despite all they went through of the offseason, despite the last couple years having been rough, their young stars have emerged. Kromarchenko is a 30-goal scorer. Adam Fantilli and Ken Johnson took steps forward this season for the better. Denton Mateychuk got called up. Dante Fabro looks like the steal of the offseason with how well he's been playing on the Blue Jackets blue line. Zach Werenski is proving that he can indeed anchor the blue line and be a franchise anchoring defenseman. The forward depth looks incredible, and the young stars are finally starting to show up for this team. So regardless of whether they make the playoffs or not, this season has been a massive win for the Columbus Blue Jackets and that organization if they wish to be continue to be successful going forward. There are some things that need to be tied up, though. Goaltending has been really inconsistent, and while Elvis has certainly had the best season he's had for the last couple of seasons, there are times where his goaltending has been a little bit questionable. Last night, maybe been one of those examples. Allowed 7 goals. Not the best night for Merzlikins, but early in the year, he got the first shutout the organization's had in years. The very first shutout one they've had in years. And that's a big step forward for the Blue Jackets in net minding. The defense looks solid. Could use some work at times. Bit of a question as whether Provorov's going to come back, if they're going to re-sign him, if they're going to maybe do a sign-and trade, or if he's just going to go. But they can work on those issues on the blue line. This is a team that's going to be very competitive going forward. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with Provorov, though. I feel like Provorov, he's been really questionable the last few seasons. A lot of people knew that he had the potential to be that franchise anchoring defenseman, but he's certainly proved to himself that he can be this year, and he's been really good helping the depth of the Blue Jackets blue line. I really do hope they bring him back. I think Provorov has become a really exceptional piece of this team, and they're going to miss him if he goes. But for the Blue Jackets going forward, just keep developing. You have a young core, but they're proven that they can compete with this core, despite how young they are. Most importantly, this is the first time in a long time the Blue Jackets have hired a head coach from outside the organization. They tried that with Mike Babcock. Did not work out. But Dean Evason has been a fantastic head coach for the Blue Jackets. He deserves to be a candidate for Coach of the Year. It's hard to see if it'll be him. In my opinion, it's probably going to be Jim Montgomery for the amazing season he's had with St. Louis. Very similar to 2019 for the Blues. They were really far under 500 going into the second half of the season, but Jim Montgomery has done a fantastic job coaching the Blues and getting them back over 500. Could be the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, an amazing year they're having. But nonetheless, Dean Evason, the coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, certainly deserves to be in that Jack Adams Award, not in the Jack Adams Award race, and he certainly deserves to be heard for Coach of the Year for the great, amazing job he's done with the Blue Jackets this season, and ensuring that the Blue Jackets prove to the Eastern Conference that they're going to be a tough contender years forward. And then for the Blue Jackets, one last prospect I wanted to mention, Caden Lidstrom, their 4th overall pick from the last draft. We didn't get to see him this season, unfortunately, due to his injury and him recovering from that ACL tear. We wish him the best in recovery, but he's coming back. They said he's going to be going to Michigan State next year to play a season of college hockey. Once he's done with Michigan State, I got no doubt he's going to be within the organization, contending to be a starting center, or at least a highly valuable center for this organization going forward. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Caden Lindstrom. Sucks that David Jiricek didn't work out. Kenny just got to choke that one. But seeing how he's been playing in Minnesota, Jiricek has just not lived up to the hype at all, and honestly, the Blue Jackets moving on from him was honestly a really good choice, because they got in a lot of depth from that trade, trading Jiricek to the Minnesota Wild, and they were able to get a lot out of that. Well, Jiricek hasn't been the best. They got a lot of pieces that they can now look forward to, as the future goes on. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.